Good morning and welcome to the Compass Affordable Housing Compass Ecosystem Podcast. My name is Carolyn Gorst. I am the Director of Development at Compass Affordable Housing, and I have my fabulous co-host with me today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lydia Aranda. It's my pleasure to be here. Carolyn, this is so exciting to be recording these podcasts and giving information out to the community.
It's great to be doing this with you, Lydia. And our special guest today is Ozzie Smith. Hey, Ozzie.
Hey Lydia, hey Caroline. It's a pleasure to be here with you too.
The purpose of our Compass Ecosystem podcast is to inform, engage, and to connect Southern Arizona community in a dialogue about human development and the human development ecosystem. We are thrilled to have Ozzie Smith with us today. This first segment is brought to you by our friends at Tucson Electric Power. So, Ozzie, we're really glad to have you here, and we'd love for you to describe your agency and the work that you're doing to address, excuse me, we'd like the issue to address the services and the outcomes that your programs are providing to our community.
So, as stated before, my name is Ozzie Smith, and I currently work for the Arizona Department of Transportation. Um, so, when everyone thinks of transportation, they think of airplanes, trains, and sometimes automobiles. But people don't realize the important work that Arizona Department of Transportation does by ensuring the highways are safe in order for people to get to A to B. And then, well, what I do there, I'm a regional training coordinator. I ensure that the Department of Transportation employees are trained and qualified to provide those services to the public. So, we want to do those things in the most efficient and safe way possible. So I work in the Southern Arizona region, and I work with those employees to ensure their training needs are met, and also to ensure, they're receiving training for their own professional development. So that's some of the things that I do for ADOT.
Ozzie, thank you for that. And I was wondering a little bit more in your role and with your agency, some of the target audiences you might be looking at, and how your agency works to solve some maybe specific or regional issues that are really the highlight of Southern Arizona.
So, obviously what I do is part of the public service. So, public service, and then training these employees, ensuring they are trained and conducting operations safely among the public. But the key thing I really wanted to to hone in on is, public service, being a public servant or being a servant leader. It all plays into the mission and role of Compass. Um, it takes a special breed to be a public servant, and then additionally, it also takes a special breed to volunteer your time and your efforts to the mission in which Compass is doing throughout the community. So, how do we contribute to that? Uh, Most importantly, we contribute to that by ensuring that the public roadways are safe, right? Secondly, if you don't have safe public roadways, people can't get to A to B. And then those people include volunteers for Compass or the customers that are benefiting from the services of Compass. So, in one big grand scheme of thing, it all turns back into one big circle, and we all support each other in helping the public.
Right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that is so true, Ozzie. We're going to take a quick break here and hear from our sponsor, Tucson Electric Power.
It's important that Tucson Electric Power partner with agencies like Compass Affordable Housing to ensure the members of our community have access to the resources that they need. We understand that we're operating in an affordability crisis, and this is not something that can be solved alone. Together, we can achieve so much more.
Our next segment is brought to you by Pima County Workforce Development Outside Agency Emergency Grant. Ozzie, thank you so much for your information there. And you spoke about your agency working for public access and very specific issues being roads and surfaces and all of the related. I wonder if in Southern Arizona, some of those issues get even more specific, perhaps around the information and training that your department specializes in.
Well, so my particular department that I specialize in, it focuses on ensuring that our employees are trained on heavy equipment, traffic operations such as traffic control technician, traffic control supervisor, or flagger. So, and you asked me how does that play a role within Southern Arizona? Like I said before, it all ties back into each other because if you don't have personnel that are trained to conduct operations safely, that interferes with the travel.
Sure.
So, and then, if roadways are closed or roadways are damaged, um, like I said before, clients can't get to services, right? Volunteers can't get to point B in order to volunteer. So, and then being a public servant, it takes a special person to be a public servant. And I tell people this all the time. If you're a public servant, you are naturally a servant leader. Um, you're sacrificing your time and your efforts and for the betterment of society. So I've always I've always believed personally in public service, um, and it's just I think it's just in my blood. And I give you a good example of that. I spent 20 years in the Army, and that's the ultimate public service, right?
Sure.
So when that time was up, I worked for the federal government, and that's more time for public service. And then I'm a Arizona guy. I'm a Tucson kid, born born and raised on the south side of Tucson. Lived in D.C. Um, and then when my daughter decided to come back to attend the University of Arizona to follow in her father's footsteps, the first thing I said to myself is, wow, this is the opportunity that that God has presented to me to move back home and to give back to the community that's given me so much. Um, my friends and family will tell anyone this guy, Ozzie Smith, loves Tucson. Loves Tucson. So anything that I could do to help our community members in Tucson, right? Or help the citizens of Arizona, sign me up for it. I want to be a part of it because I think President Kennedy said it best. It's not what your nation can do for you, but what you can do for your nation. So I believe it's not what Tucson can do for me, is what I could do for Tucson. How can I help Tucson? How can I help our citizens out there? And that's just important, and it's what I believe in, and it's just built into my DNA.
That's fabulous that you know so much about the local issues and that you've taken this very national perspective. And thank you, by the way, for your military service. And you've taken your local knowledge and it's come full circle now for you to
Yeah.
be able to put it into your agency, train your internal staff about how they too can extend these services and expertise out into the community.
No, no, absolutely. Um, when the phrase says it takes a village to raise one, right? So it takes a team to give back to the community to address the issues that we have within Southern Arizona. Believe me, the same issues that are happening in Southern Arizona are happening nationwide. I at this particular point in my life, I just decided, man, I've looked at things from an international perspective. I looked at things from a national perspective. Now I want to look at things and work on issues from a local perspective to give back to the community that's given so much to me as I was growing up as a child.
Well, and transportation is important to everybody and has an
Absolutely.
impact, as you said, on the whole ecosystem. So
Absolutely.
with that, Carolyn, I will pass it back to you.
Ozzie, I echo what Lydia said. Thank you so much for your service. And it's so wonderful that we were lucky enough to get you back to Tucson, uh, former Wildcat, and hopefully your daughter is a proud Wildcat right now. We have some exciting things happen with our Wildcats. So our next question that you kind of led us into is, we'd like for you to tell us more about how our Arizona transportation is actually participating in Southern Arizona's human development ecosystem. And you touched on this a little bit already when you were talking about servant leadership and volunteers, I feel.
Yeah, ADOT has several programs out there. From going to the schools to talking to kids about different careers about ADOT to going to schools and talking about the STEM programs. Um, it's there's so many opportunities within this organization to assist people, and we're constantly out there trying to let people know, hey, ADOT is more than just that individual working on the highway. You could be a training coordinator like myself, or you could work in the lab, or you could work as a administrative support officer. There's so many roles out there. And then what I like to do though too is when I see opportunities that come up within the organization, I like to reach out to young people and let them know, here's an opportunity that's available for you. You should check it out. It may not be what you like, but here's an opportunity for you.
I love that. And the fact that you are already working with our next generation to lay that foundation. So important. We're going to take a quick break here. This next section, we want to acknowledge our sponsor, Tucson Osteopathic Medical Foundation.
Annually, we give to local organizations who are running programs and making great strides in what we call the social determinants of health. It's incredible the work that they're doing, and we're just really proud to be a part of it.
This next segment is sponsored by our friends over at Tucson Osteopathic Medical Foundation. Lydia, I think you have a final question for Ozzie.
I sure do. And Ozzie, thank you so much for what you're sharing with us and really the whole community about how your agency works out in community and the many different services. What I would be interested in understanding and sharing with our audience is how Southern Arizona residents who need your services can participate. In other words, how can they interact with you or give you support, you and your team, with all your many programs and services?
Yeah, that is an absolutely fantastic question. So if a lot of times I see a whole bunch of emails, or I hear about a whole bunch of emails to to our public information office talking about complaints. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this we need to fix this, or there's an issue over here. So, but people could also use that email, right? And ask about, hey, what additional services do you guys do besides just work on roads? Or what are the programs that you guys have that contribute to the community? And And I am 100% confident that our public information team will be able to answer those questions and give out that specific information that they need, or they'll put you into contact with someone that could address those issues. So, you know, the first thing I say is reach out to the our public information team, our community engagement liaisons that can address specific questions, that can address issues, or point you in the right direction. The one thing I will tell you though is, everybody within this organization is here to support. Right? It's a team effort, and we want to ensure that your concerns are being addressed, right? And that we're addressing them in a timely manner. And if there is a delay, our team is going to reach out and let you know the progress of something or why there is something being delayed. But, ultimately, I go back and I say it takes a team effort, and it's a team effort to ensure the community is safe.
That's great. And might there be a website or another type of link for them to find you?
Yes, there is a website.
I mean, is
Just
that the best, or do you prefer phone calls into a helpline, maybe? Or
I will refer people to the Arizona Department of Transportation website, and then there's several links. There's all sorts of information out there that's set up to answer if set up to answer questions for the public, and it's all there. So I encourage people to go to that website, navigate through it, ask your questions, and somebody's going to get back to you.
that's just great. And Carolyn, I think you would agree that what we're hearing here is there is an open door and a welcoming of the public to be in touch with you, Ozzie, and your colleagues in all of the different divisions and departments, including the public information division, to
Absolutely.
to be able to not only share, maybe instead of complaints, we'll say opportunities for improvement,
Yeah.
but also to maybe offer their own services, thoughts, ideas, or maybe they're looking to get hired and be part of your team.
Yeah, and if you're, if you, and I encourage all young people, if you want to work for state government, please go to that state of Arizona jobs web link. And it's broken down to different cities: Tucson, Yuma, Phoenix. I've even seen stuff in 3 Points, Arizona. You know what I mean? So it's just like I said, I grew up here. And I'm finding cities that I've never even heard of before. Uh, but it's all there, and I encourage people. If you want to work for the state, go to the Arizona State Jobs link, or if you want to contact ADOT, go to the Arizona Department of Transportation website, and there are several links or outlets there that you could request for information, and just learn more about the agency and what we do for you and the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being here today. And Ozzie, that is such great information. You can learn more about Compass ecosystem and the work we are doing in community by visiting us at www.compassaffordablehousing.org. We want to thank our sponsors, Tucson Electric Power, Pima County Workforce Development Outside Agency with the Short-Term Emergency Grant, and our sponsor, Tucson Osteopathic Medical Foundation. We look forward to seeing you next week, and thank you all for joining us on Compass Ecosystems Podcast.